Live from EchoPark Speedway, welcome race fans one and all back to Green Flag TV, where this afternoon we are set to go at it once again here on Thursday night. A new season, new stories, and lots to talk about as we get set to duke it out for season number 5 of the Highline Diecast Collectibles Speed Cup Series. My name is Olarembo alongside Scott Rankin. We bring you all of racing coverage from start to finish of this fantastic Thursday night series. Scott, it's always special when we rock up for a brand new season. Not the traditional season opener, though, at Daytona. Today, it's EchoPark Speedway, a track that's a mile less, but no less thrilling.
Yeah, this is a brilliant little place. To be perfectly honest, I'm always upset that they tore down the old Atlanta, repaved it, rebuilt it, and built it up to this new place. Super Speedway racing is great, but we've got enough of them on the schedule, I gotta be honest. But what happens here tonight is gonna be epic. The biggest thing is anyone can win this race from anywhere, and it's a new season. You celebrate it with a brand new Super Speedway to get us underway.
We started off here with the Highline Diecast Collectibles Atlanta kickoff, followed by the Beef It's What's for Dinner 150 coming on up next week at the Dover Motor Speedway. That is closed up by a race over at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, along with closing out July at the Iowa Speedway for the Tim Branson's All Elite Wrestling 150. So plenty of racing action coming on up. Of course, August we'll see Watkins Glen, Richmond, Daytona, and Darlington. The fall is kicked off at Gateway, followed by Bristol, New Hampshire, and Kansas, with the regular season finale taking place at the Charlotte Roval. And then to close out the season, it's going to be Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Talladega, Martinsville, Phoenix, and Homestead Miami Speedway will look set to close out the field right here at the end of the season. So plenty of action still yet to come, and honestly, a great looking schedule to have this thing kicked off.
Yeah, phenomenal way to start this one. This is going to be an interesting season for sure. A couple really interesting racetracks in there as well, which is going to be huge, I think. You know, getting to go through the bulk of the calendar here. You know, a couple road courses on the schedule as well. Always good to see. So, yeah, I'm excited. Look, as much as I say that I hate this place, I am still excited to go racing. It's good to be back for Speed Cup Series. Last series was a pleasure to be part of. Pleasure to be calling the races because the racing was just so good. So, with the new series and all the drama of the last series settled, there's also some team changes in the works here too, Nolan. I think that's going to be the big thing. Two groups of drivers working together.
Some team changes, some driver changes. We'll get to all of those in just a moment. For now, going to be a shout out to the folks that keep the lights on here for the Speed Cup Series. Season 5 is brought to you by Highline Diecast Collectibles, your go-to source for high-quality NASCAR diecast and memorabilia. Whether you're hunting for the latest releases, rare finds, or looking to sell your own collection, they've got you covered. Plus, don't miss their live auctions every week on Facebook, where you can score incredible deals on must-have collectibles. Check them out and follow along at facebook.com/HLD Collectibles, where passion for racing meets collectible perfection. Let's see their auction schedules down to the bottom right of your screens. But Scott, like you were saying, right? Plenty of new drivers coming into the fray. Jeffrey Johnson Jr., TJ Buck, Jesse Gordon, just to name a few. Some team swaps as well. Stan Hausman and Martin Plout, they're going to be switching on over into Twisted Beer Motorsports, moving away from the Race Wrap Guy Motorsports outfit. I think the biggest roster change entered today, though, Christopher Darley, a driver that has been a staple of this championship. Well, with his antics in that final race, he has unfortunately found himself watching on from the sidelines, not eligible to come back from that suspension for another 6 weeks.
Ooh, hefty penalty. But look, I gotta be honest, it's unbecoming. So, you know, that's where it gets a little bit serious, and the penalty that's handled down, I think, does fit the crime. It's, you know, you gotta sit on the sideline, you gotta watch. The other side of the coin is, at that point, sometimes drivers just look at the series and go, you know what, I don't want to come back. And I'm not going to say that every series is right for every driver. I would say that it's all about finding the series that's right for you. And I got to be honest, the rest of the field are having a grand old time. He has to sit on the sideline. He has to sit around and wait. If he does choose to come back, good for him. But he's going to have to clean up that act. I am not happy with the way that he drove the end of last season. And the series felt exactly the same.
Evidently, yeah, others felt this, similar this afternoon, and so it's going to look to be hopefully a good showing here this afternoon. I'm looking forward to seeing how racing action is going to pan out here today. And, well, with only a few seconds left here in qualifying, we are going to look to be able to do just that. So this field of 36 cars strong is set up and good to rumble. And we'll take a run down and show you how everything's going to line on up for the next 90 laps of raced action from the EchoPark Speedway. Starting on pole position here this afternoon, it is going to be Justin Mello with a 31.582. Just 6th thou off the mark is Dylan Banks, one of the rookies, entering racing action here this afternoon. Row 2 holds Matt Montembault, another one of the rookies with a high point, number 19 out of Canada, alongside Interstellar SRV's Matt Schlosser. Row 3 holds Justin Malarkey with the body armor sports drive number 73, alongside Philip Scott running some new colors on his 00. From there, row 4 holds Nicholas Cote alongside Martin Plute. And row number 5 headed up by Benazzi Major and TJ Buckscott.
Outside the 10, we're getting back to 11th spot, Jesse Gordon. He's going to be alongside of Stephen Gibson. They're only going to be 1,000 separating those two drivers. 13th spot, Ronnie Norman, again, only a couple thousandths back. He's very tight here. Jeremiah Vincent returns to form outside the top 10, though, for him. Ethan Amberg going to be in behind him with a little bit of work to do. Garrett Austin will be starting along to his outside. Good to see Garrett returning with a slick paint scheme as ever. The 95 machine, Colton Easterdale will be out of 17th spot. Row number 9 will round out Brennan McKee. Finally, the top 20 will be rounded out by Tim Branson and Ryan Shelton in the Hillbilly Motorsports and Vincent Motorsports machines, respectively.
From there, Corey Hutchinson and Ryan Newman bringing up 21st and 22nd. Sliding through the field, it's going to be Kyle Holden alongside Nate Cotella, with Zach Hinson bringing it up alongside Charles Simmer. Stan Hauser and Arabia Keita will be 27th and 28th. McFadden and Williams round out the top 30.
Yeah, from there on back, we're only going to have a couple more to go through. Stacey Hunter from Joey Barrett, 31st and 32nd. 33rd and 34th, Justin White and Jeffrey Johnson Jr. Finally, final two drivers taking the field. Dave Harrington, one driver failing this at a time. Jason Shoes starts from the rear, the 36 driver field. 36 cars on Atlanta. It's going to be busy.
And Justin Mello has earned the best real estate of the grid by winning the Ryan Newman & Associates powered by Remax Select Pole Award. To find the best real estate in Michigan, you don't need the fastest time. You just need to contact Ryan Newman & Associates. Plenty of rookies in this field, and this race posted to be an exciting one. Scott, final thoughts here before we go green?
Most importantly, survival. There's going to be a bunch of drivers looking to drop to the back, just hang around. There's going to be 100 laps here tonight. The big critical factor, get to the halfway mark with a race car that you can work with. From there, you can start picking them off as you need. Make sure that you keep your eyes down the track and you take a read on the race. If it's getting too aggressive, make sure you deploy the parachute and you get the heck out of there.
Well, the field is all set and ready to rumble. We'll enter the Geico Restart Zone. It's time to go, go, go with a new season on Green Flag TV.
Here we go. A couple drivers already making sure that they took a nice slow start from the rear of the field. They're going to hang back just a little bit. Again, it's about taking a read of the race. But Matt Schlosser got a great launch. He's going to get down to the bottom. He gives the push to Justin Malillo. And the inside line, your pole sitter, becomes your race leader. Schlosser's right there to give him the surge that he needs.
Working it down into turn numbers 3 and 4. Lap number 1 is going to be closed out by Justin Mello up at the head of the field, with everyone else in hot pursuit behind, already looking for 3. As Stephen Gibson in the number 97 scored as the 999 for this race. Started to slip a little bit further back as a result of that start, but quickly gathering it up, and we're 2 by down the back straightaway.
You're going to see a lot of this, I think, here tonight. It's going to be very difficult to sort of start to pick who's going to look strong. The big thing is that Malillo got out to an early lead. And the other thing is to think about weather conditions. What are we looking at in terms of things at the moment? Really nice, cool track. Tyre's going to last a heck of a lot longer. I can tell you it's 27C out there at the moment. Get that one converted on over to Fahrenheit for everybody else. Because, well, the thing is, Nolan, you and I both work in countries that work in degrees centigrade. So we have to run it through the calculator.
Well, good thing HVO can do that for us. 82 degrees Fahrenheit on the track, 77 in the air. Low winds this afternoon, but 83% of humidity, so it may not be hot as it normally is, but it sure is humid out there, and that's going to be throwing up some pretty tricky challenges with these cars as well. That humidity not going to improve as the night goes on.
Did notice one car having issues on the warm-up lap. That's that car you've just got highlighted there. He's trying to feed back in nicely at the moment. He's trying to do everything he possibly can. Recognized he had issues. Tim Branson, unfortunately, had some sort of PC dropout. And he goes one lap down. And I just heard Colton Easterday jump on and say, my screen froze for a few moments. I am so sorry for any contact that he caused. So there's a few issues for a couple cars. Remember, 36 cars in the sim. The other car I'm keeping half an eye on is the 35th place car at the moment, Jeremiah Vincent. He got ejected out of the pack early on. He is half a lap down at the moment. He's a couple laps away from going a full lap down.
Working lap 5 of 100 this afternoon, and it's amazing how quickly those lap times can just tick away when you're in a pack like this, right? Dylan Banks putting down the new fastest lap of the race. As Banks going to slide with a 29.513. And that time, I'm willing to bet is going to be going down as the night goes on as well.
Yeah, for sure. As everyone starts to bring the heat. I just went back and had a quick look at Jeremiah Vincent, elected to start from pit road. He was due to start at a 14th spot right in the thick of the hornet's nest. And he elected to start from pit road. That's why he has been ejected out of the pack.
Well, fair enough. It's one of those things, right? You got to kind of work with it, but he's going to be able to work with it just fine and hopefully get himself further up there as the afternoon goes along. Well, the field have themselves with a pretty solid night thus far, and I'm willing to bet we could go a bit deep here into the running if this race calls for it. EchoPark Speedway is a weird quantity, right? You either get a caution fest or you get very long green flag runs, and Speed Cup Series tends to flip-flop between the two. I'm willing to bet, though, that we're going to have a good night. I mean, usually if you'd have a caution fest, you would have had that first yellow by now.
Yeah, probably, but everyone's figuring themselves out, too. Remember you said there's a couple of rookies out there in the field that are here for the first time? The rookies have got sort of two jobs to do. They can either elect to try and figure out what the field's doing. Sometimes you just got to take a read. Sometimes when you jump into a new league, particularly at this size, this quantity of drivers and the skill level of drivers, a bunch of guys you haven't run around. You're going to spend the first half of the season sort of figuring out what room to give everyone. Some drivers you can get a little, there's no comment on driver skill as well. Some drivers just like to be a little bit more dynamic with the way they drive the racetrack. Some guys like to be a little bit more deliberate, run to one specific line. So you've got to figure that out. You've got to figure out who's going to give you the room. It does take you a number of races to get that picture put together. You can't just jump into a field like this and immediately know who you're running around. So there's no real world way to figure that out, because the number of sim racing drivers is significantly more high than the number of real-world drivers in real-world series. So that's just one of the things that's unique with the sim world. You jump into a series for the first time, there's a bunch of drivers out there, you've got no idea who they are, you've never raced against them, you've done anything about it. So figuring guys out, one of the biggest things, and figuring out the race style as well. A little bit shorter on the race length here at the Speed Cup than you would see in probably the average league. That's not a good thing, that's not a bad thing. Short races, they're over nice and done nice and quickly. You can be a little bit more aggressive. Tire wear still a factor over here as well. So there's a few things the rookies will have to deal with as they get themselves on the way. I gotta say, Nolan, I've never ever been a fan of starting series off at super speedways. So when you've got a field that's pretty stable, it's always, you can do it. You know, it makes for something interesting at some. But I gotta be honest, I've never been a super speedway fan. I want a racetrack where I'm in control of my own destiny, and that's.
Well, hey, it's one of those things, right? I think a lot of people love to start things out at super speedways because, I mean, why not, right? I mean, you get yourself a pretty good, solid drive. You can get a good field going. You can have some of those long green flag runs. You can figure out who's your friends and who your friends aren't. I think that's kind of the big thing about super speedways, right? You'll learn really quickly who are the people to work with and who are the people to, you know, maybe avoid if you need somebody to work with in a teammate scenario. EchoPark Speedway, though, it's one of those tracks where you don't really have much of an option in, you know, picking and choosing like you would at some place like Talladega or Daytona. This track's just so narrow and so short in comparison. You got to kind of work the middle groove, if that makes any sense. You got to just work with what you're given. There's no room to be beggars and choosers here. Brendan McKee has just flashed out, and big problems for McKee as he's down to the apron.
Yeah, he had a screen freeze as well, and as soon as he had that screen freeze, he dived to the apron. So a few guys working the hardware quite hard at the moment. I can tell you all, I'm watching the in the market for a new computer right now. That's what I'm trying to pick up just to make sure that these issues don't happen to me. But the biggest thing about the sim moving forward is that it's taking up more and more resources. I believe this is where we get into the podcasty episode section of the commentary. I've actually had this discussion with a couple of different commentary groups over the years, and it feels like the sim's trending in the direction of getting its upgrades. What you got to remember for the race fans watching along at home is this is an engine from 2008 where they've just bolted on things and bolted on things and bolted on things and bolted on things, and that works to a point. And I think we're beyond that point. iRacing is definitely aware that we're beyond that point. They are working on it. There is already work going on in the background to bring out the iRacing 2.0 client, for lack of a better word, or you know, iRacing New. What would you call iRacing New? Would you call it iRacing 2.0? Would you call it the iPod, iRace Pod? Would you call it iRace Mini? What kind of unique names would you come up with the new client?
You put more thought about this than I have. Let's put it that way.
But the biggest thing is that PC hardware has also taken a giant step in a different direction. Back in 2008, it was all about maximizing single cores, you know, just getting whatever you could out of one or two cores. A little bit of an incident down at the rear of the field as well. Somebody's managed to save it, so no caution from that one. But computer architecture has changed significantly since 2008. And one of the biggest things is that the newer editions of iRacing, it just can't take that. Basically, the way that you utilize the cores and the hardware is a little bit old hat. It worked phenomenally at the time. It still works phenomenally today. You know, considering the graphics level and the detail that we have, this is a great job for something from 2008 that managed to upgrade. But
oh, for sure,
it is old. It is time, and it's time for a reshape. You know what's coming. It's a matter of when. Oh boy.
There was the incident with Mark McFadden being spun down to the inside in 3 and 4, able to gather it up. Tough break for him, but hey, he's keeping on. Well, Ethan Amberg works around the outside of Kyle Holden. Martin Plute trying to get up in there with him, and you got the 7-3 of Justin Malarkey looking to make moves down the middle as well.
At the moment, it's just chill out. You can see Malarkey's tinkering away with the throttle. So what's worthwhile noting with that graphic in the bottom corner of the screen, green bar on the left is throttle, red bar next to it's brake. So what we can tell from Justin Malarkey is that he's tinkering with the throttle. Do not take anything from the percentage of the throttle that's in that bar. What we need to know is anytime you see him start to decrease his throttle pressure, it's going to look like he jumps off the throttle completely. Drivers will not be completely off the throttle here tonight. You'll see them play with the level of their throttle. So what we can learn from that bar is that Malarkey is constantly tinkering with the amount of throttle pressure he has in the car. Right now, it's probably 100%. You'll see when he rocks off, that's probably back to about 75, 80%. It's not all the way down to zero, but it is relevant. That bar does tell us a lot of detail.
Boy, Tim Branson really checked up the outside line there when they came around off of turn 2. He'll drop back another lap. He is now down 3. And that number 92. I feel bad for Branson, right? He was looking to try and come out here strong, and unfortunately just kind of got caught out in the middle of all of this. Good to note, by the way, good chunk of the field is split apart. You got this main pack first about 20th, and then all the way back here as a result of that little slide with McFadden, TJ Buck. Now, oh no, hard into the wall for Stan Hausman. Collects Zach Williams and more. Caution is out for the first time tonight.
Oh, there's a second pack coming.
Oh boy.
And just with the amount of banking that's on the racetrack, he would have been on the brakes, and that car still would have been sliding down. There's not much you can really do. Gravity will do what gravity does.
Boy, that came out of left field right there. No warning whatsoever. So we'll take a look back. This is Stan Hausman. I wonder if Hausman caught the wall and in turn 3 maybe. And Zach Williams just ran into the back of him in 3 and right rear hooked him.
He gets him loose right there, and then it's, yeah, the car's loose because of the amount of air being pressed up and onto that splitter. There's no downforce, there's no air going over the top of it at that point in time. The car's just a little bit loose, the handling's a little bit different. He's up the racetrack as well. And if that air is not dumped on that splitter spoiler cleanly, and directly, it's very, very easy to do that. You've got to be very centered through the corners. But the problem for the trailing car is the trailing car needs fresh air to the nose so that he can actually turn the car as well.
Phenomenal job from a couple of the guys in that pack to get around that unscathed, as we've got several now coming down pit road. In fact, pretty much the entire field is into pit road, save for Joey Barrett. Joey Barrett opting to stay out. Interesting call for the number 52, or the 97, sorry.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I think that's a mistake. 23 laps of fuel is nothing to sneeze at, and 23 laps on tires in Atlanta is also nothing to sneeze at. Malolo again showing that that number 1 pit stall is very tough to beat. But yeah, the big thing is I think the 23 laps of fuel, I don't think he can give that up. He's going to pit in the near future. So I would be, yeah, I'd be inclined to say that is the wrong call.
Well, we got an opportunity here under the caution flag here, right? We kind of talk a little bit more about what's been going on over the offseason, along with the team changes, the new drivers coming on in. There's also been a pretty good drive here for Garrett Austin in particular. Now, Garrett Austin currently running in the number 6 spot. He actually has quite a high honor for him. He has been voted in as the most popular driver from the last season by his peers.
Yeah, phenomenal to see. I mean, he raced a lot of people very, very cleanly. I think that's the big thing, is that Garrett Austin raced smart last season. That's how he's earned that one out. Willing to have a little bit of a laugh, a little bit of a joke. And, you know, that's what you got to do. You know, happy for him. That's a big. It's very difficult to win a vote like that, because that's going to encompass quite a lot of drivers, and sometimes the teams will group up and they will vote on something like that. But yeah, for him, that's really, really good to see, is that he's won that most popular driver, because I've got to be honest, paintwork and stuff that he does, he certainly deserves it. So congratulations to him.
Yeah, I mean, this is a vote that was done by his peers, right? I mean, that's not enough. And to get race car drivers to agree on who's the best out of all of them, and who's the most popular out of all of them, I mean, you're doing something right.
Well, if he's the most popular, is this where we start calling him Hollywood or something like that? Is he on a new nickname out of this one?
I have no idea. We should ask him that.
Carrot Chase Austin. It's the next words that come to mind. But Joey Barrett, though, I don't know how this is going to work out. He's off sequence in strategy, and he's the only one on his strategy. If there was 2 other cars that stayed out with him, okay, then you could do something, because they can all line up, hit together, and maintain a train after this with a little bit of a track issue. But when he's the only car that's on the strategy, I would have just second time down, I'm down pit lane and go in the rear.
Well, Nicholas Coe did refuse to take tires. He is on a fuel-only stop. He starts second on that outside line as well. So, field coming back to green, this time by Joey Barrett. Launches in the restart zone, and racing action resumes from the EchoPark Speedway.
Changing name for the Atlanta venue as well, only just recently done. But good to see Atlanta getting its naming rights sponsor out there, and in the sim as well. I mean, it's good for everyone, right? When we see these sorts of updates coming through.
Boy.
Yeah, it's getting dicey up here.
Matsu Major kind of straddled the apron there, coming down to the turn 3. Thought for a moment he might hook himself, but gets it back sorted. 25 down, 75 to go. Justin Melilo leading the way still, and so far Melilo has led just about every single lap, and he was quick to retake the lead off that jump as well.
Also worth noting, Jeremiah Vincent managed to get his lap back. He is now back on the lead lap. Tim Branson has gone to 3 laps down, so I think he's had further issues, unfortunately for him. Dropped out and rejoined again, so he's going to have a big struggle to get back to the point. But what of this race already done, Nolan? We are trucking on the race laps here tonight.
Yes, sir. I mean, when you get to a race like this, you can really tick those laps away in a hurry. As Justin Melilo leads the way still, and double file for about 8th on back, as Justin Malarkey trying to fight this one out with the 73 entry of with the 400 car of Matt Schlosser, and going around the outside of Martin Plout.
Plout, I saw him earlier on hanging about in that top lane. It just looks like the top lane just can't form up enough to get to the front at the moment. I don't know how hard everyone's pushing, so I do get a little bit of a sense that that's not necessarily what's going on. Keeping an eye towards the back end of the pack as well. Remember how I said Jeremiah Vincent's back on the lead lap? Well, he's now part of the group off the tail end of the pack. There's about 5 cars back there, and that group sort of starts at about the 30th spot from Justin White through Nate Patilla, Zach Williams, Jeremiah Vincent, and Charles Simmer. Gonna break up a little bit. They're still staying in touch. There's another group of about 6 cars that's all also hanging off the back of the lead pack. So the cars that are all the way out and back there, you just see on top of that shot, that's sort of the start of that 11-car group. At the moment, are maintaining draft to the lead pack, but they are about to lose it if they're not careful.
Well, they're going to be helped out by the fact that there's so much side-by-side going on up front here, and boy, a bit of contact there, as I believe that was the 99 of Ryan Shelton. They got muscled up the racetrack there just a little bit, trying to clear himself across the nose of Ryan Newman. Didn't quite go to plan with the Macari Sweat number 99, but boy, a tight shave there coming around through turn 4.
Yeah, we're getting into the midpoints of this race now, so again, the amount of breaks that people cut each other start moving around. I just saw a car 2 ahead in the outside lane have a little bit of a wiggle. Nicholas Cope just had some issues in the outside lane. He nearly slipped sideways and shot down in the car beneath him, which I believe would be Jesse Gordon in the 10 entry. But yeah, that outside lane, it just can't make any ground is the biggest issue. I think they get, every time they sort of start to build something, they get side drafted back.
Well, of course, remember as well, the car leaning away there, right? Joey Barrett, he's on old tires, so that's not helping things up there. I mean, these guys probably could be up there with the leaders, but Joey Barrett on old rubber up there is really hindering their progress. That said, if they can find a line like he just has, they can make some progress. It's just so difficult to climb up there.
The thing for Joey Barrett is he's only about 15 laps away from having to come to the pits. He's needs to start thinking about trying to get down into the inside lane. I wouldn't be moving down just yet, but I would be thinking about it. The other thing for him right now is that with those older tires, whilst he's at the head of that outside lane, he actually has more downforce. So that car is working quite well, and it was the number 20 machine right there, Dylan Banks, who actually wiggled towards the top side, and all of a sudden Barrett's in the outside lane. He's going to get put 3 wide, and we're seeing him settle to the back now.
Joey Barrett started to slip backwards as the rookie of Justin Malarkey going to go 3 wide up the middle. Barrett's to the wall. He's going to get a turn. Big hit up into the outside wall. Caution comes out again. The 21 of Corey Hutchinson still sliding to the inside. And cars into the infield. We're still colliding on the front straightaway. But now, Joey Barrett leads the way as caution number 2 takes over EchoPark Speedway.
That's gotta be, yeah, that was a timing error. And you'll see the field probably come back down for fuel again right here, primarily. But you can see changed pit lane entry area as well. It's now over in the entry to turn 3. Mark McFadden, unfortunately in that one. Nate Catilla. Barrett went around and he got collected up by a number of cars as a part of that one.
And Joey Barrett, one of the first drivers that got caught up in that, and sure enough, a big chunk of drivers coming down pit road now. No surprises here. And Stephen Gibson would be the one to lead them in.
There's a few cars in the middle of the back of the pack that are looking at, hey, we were struggling to grab some track position here. We'll dive our way forward. Alternatively, a couple of cars from the front looking to go. We've had about a third of the field. No, you know what? It's close to half the field stay out. So that's worked out quite interestingly. Excessively split strategies right now. I think the first car to stay out, we're going to replay it, and it's all to do with, unfortunately, the 97.
Yeah.
Barrett getting up into the fence. He's just stuck up there, and the problem is at this point in time, he's trying to get the car to come off that fence, which takes a lot of wheel input to get it to come down. So when you finally get loose of free of the fence, you cut down hard on the 21's nose. There's nothing they can do from there.
Yeah, I got up into Corey Hutchinson, and then when the field came up on him, this is kind of where it got a little bit more intense as the 97 spun sideways all over again, and oh, a big hit to the door courtesy of Nate Cotilla. Jeez.
Mark McFadden is unfortunately done for the day as well. He was caught up in that. No damage to the left rear corner. Keep an eye on the 21, just know where to go. He knew what was coming to. He's out of the gas. He's trying to pedal to give himself some room, but you can't just dive on the brakes. You'll get run over.
And then you saw McFadden kind of spinning up the field. This is on board with him and what he saw.
There it is. First impact cuts it down. And it's just the bumps. And he had to come back up the racetrack because of the angle he was at.
Ooh! I think it was Branson that got him.
Yeah.
Top rate for Mark McFadden. Of course, a driver that's got quite a bit of experience in the real world as well, running over at the Agassi Speedway. Runs a dwarf car over there. He was supposed to be out there for their midget invitational. Didn't quite pan out. That ended up getting rained out. I think he might be back for the open wheel invitational coming on up in August. So still lots ahead for McFadden, both in the real world and in the sim. It's a long season, right? Don't get yourself down just because you're out in race 1.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Long season. Anything can happen. Get yourself a win. You're on the right path to being on the inside. And remember, long season, lots of time and opportunity for things to go wrong for other drivers as well. How many times have we seen guys that look like they're set to win, all of a sudden fall like a stone, something goes wrong at the right point in the race for them? Another restart. Going to be the start of lap 37. Here we go.
And if you're just tuning in from the Average Joe Sim Racing League with the race that just closed out for the Dover Motor Speedway, welcome on board to round 1 of the Highline Diecast Collectibles Speed Cup Series. A bad start for Caton as Caton gets checked up and McKee on up are gone.
Yeah, great restart for those guys. They're going to have to work out. The inside lane is still in the draft here, so they can stick with him, but Caton is having a lot of issues, and I think everyone's going to try and line themselves out. Everyone's just abandoning him and trying to get to his inside.
Gibson goes down the inside. Jesse Gordon going to try to go down the inside. Caton trying to find a hole, but there is none. He is going to get some help from up top as Dave Harrington goes up to lend some assistance. But that's only going to end up checking him up further. He doesn't want to work with Harrington. He's trying to look for his inside now. But as Ryan Newman goes down his inside, he might not have a choice. Newman bobbles off the apron and nearly pushes up into him.
I get nervous. Look, adding a super speedway style layout to a 1.5 mile is a great idea in theory, and it certainly makes for intriguing racing actions, but it comes with a couple of unique complexities. Have a look at the banking level. These corners, you enter them, and it's just all of a sudden snapping the corner. Daytona, Talladega, there's a little bit more build up to the corner. The car settles on the bottom a lot quicker, wants to stick down there. Atlanta is far and away the most difficult of the 3 super speedways. It is unique. The other 2 have a little bit more room to work with. The front straightaway doesn't have a D shape in it, whereby you've got a whole bunch of apron. There's a bunch of bumps that are down there quite close to the race surface. Think about Daytona, it's got the kink. Talladega, it's got the kink. Have a think about the kink at those places though. One single kink, not a D-shaped front oval. It is the triangle shape, the tri-oval shape. And particularly at Talladega, it's wide and it's smooth. It's great. That's why the super speedway racing at Talladega works. It's smooth. These cars, this platform, it struggles. Older style of cars, you think back to years gone by, and you think back to Scott, there's been a lot of bumpy style super speedway races. Daytona of years gone by, a lot of bumps out at that place. Yes, but those cars of that era were built for it. They were built to be on bumpy racetracks, and they had to do some lifting in the corners. You don't lift in these things. Suspension is stiff. Stiffer suspension does not handle bumps. Stiffer suspension provides you superior grip, but it does not handle bumps. You need softer suspension to run on bumps and things like curbs. When we get to the road courses, you'll see these cars struggle with curbs.
Yeah, especially at some of the bigger tracks, right? Like I imagine we're going to be seeing plenty of curb spins over at the Charlotte Roval later on this season. especially on that back straightaway and the front straightaway chicane for that matter. Both those chicanes are going to see a lot of action. For now, though, no curves to worry about at the EchoPark Speedway. Ryan Shelton currently leads the outside line. Behind, drivers looking to go potentially 3 wide up the middle. TJ Buck in the Liquid Death #2 continuing to work or make tracks. Going up to the high side. Right behind him is Ronnie Norman. So if you're the rookies looking to team up.
Yep, that he will. I'm just keeping an eye on a little bit of pit strategy. And Garrett Austin is currently running supremely well. He's the best of the cars on pit strategy of pitting underneath that lap 34 caution. Big moment for Brendan McKee.
You can't go pushing the pusher like that there for Buck, as the Buck nearly got run into the back of Ethan Amberg and Brian Sheldon. That could have been a really nasty incident. You know, the whole don't push the pusher, that's one of those lessons, right? You learn that once, and you never do it again, because you've learned your lesson on why it is historically a terrible idea.
Well, the way that you've got to think about it in these race cars as well as the car drives a little bit differently. I mean, historically, yeah, sure. But what happens? Well, when you get up close to the car up front, particularly when you form an air bubble, is there's no grip on the front end of the race car. So what happens is the pusher effectively is operating on supremely low front downforce, which means all of a sudden just going around the back. We might stay green here.
No, we're not. Caution comes out. Dave Harrington and Jason Shu will be the two that bring it out. Bit of a delay on the yellow, but it did end up coming out still. And 2 more cars put us under the yellow flag once again.
Track position is so key tonight. Guarantee you we will get a mix of strategies here again now that it's started. You can just see the pap is just wobbling a little bit.
Well, Shu just didn't turn in. I don't know.
Oh.
I think a lot of indecision there from Jason Shu kind of led to that. Oh, boy. Hard look into the outside wall for the driver, the #3.
He will effectively be done for the day. There's not a lot Shu's going to be able to do with that race car. He's totally back to pit me. Was not able to drive it back. And the big thing is he was like, okay, I'm going to go into this outside lane. The car didn't necessarily stick. Then you overcorrect it a little bit. You start coming back down. Oh, well, that hole in the bottom lane is going to be filled. And that's the big thing about super speedway racing, particularly in this day and age, is that the runs are so big, and once that momentum sort of comes, that hole, there's somebody in it. You've got to be so direct and deliberate about everything that you do. If you wander just a little bit, it's not going to be a great outcome.
Yet more pit stops. The top 5 all opting to stay out this time around. Going to, once again, shout outs with the folks to keep the lights on here. Season 5 of the Speed Cup Series is brought to you by Ryan Newman and Associates, powered by Remax Select. They believe finding your dream home should be an exciting and seamless experience. Serving all of Michigan, their dedicated team brings years of expertise and a commitment to personalized professional service that makes buying or selling a home simple and stress-free. Whether you're a first-time buyer, seasoned investor, or looking anywhere in the United States, they can help by referring you to top professionals across the country. Trust Ryan Newman and Associates to guide you every step of the way. Your future starts with them, so go and make it a reality. And by Twisted Steel Steak Appeal. Twisted Steel Steak Appeal by Marty Pluto has a solid punch of sweet and a heat flavor that lingers to let you know it's there. Marty Pluto is an award-winning steak cook-off association chef and has finally revealed his secret resting rub that'll blow you away with flavor. Steak, veggies, fish, pork, and poultry. Twisted Steel Steak Appeal is a rub above the rest. And of course, don't forget to check out the weekly auctions put on by Highline Diecast Collectibles, the title sponsor for Season 5 of Speed Cup Series action. The next one coming on up on July 12th with the Buy It Now sale. First come, first served. You can find those on Facebook at facebook.com/HLD Collectibles.
Couple comments coming in over on YouTube I noticed as well. Sedarius Day, he not happy about the most popular driver from last season. Demands a recap. I like that. A little bit of humor. And good information, Mark McFadden will race on the 26th at Agassiz Speedway.
Joey Barrett has been disqualified. And from the looks of it, he did not serve his meatball flag.
Yeah, you have a meatball flag, you have to serve it. Did he stop?
I have no
No,
idea.
he drove. No, he did. He did come to a stop in his pit stop. The only way that I'm thinking he didn't serve his meatball flag is I don't think he took tires. So you can't, it's very difficult to blow a tire. Very difficult. I didn't think that would have been possible.
Well, a tough
That
break.
car did not go up on the jacks at its pit stop, so that might be it.
Weird. Well, Joey Barrett going to be out of this race as a result. While the field goes back to green flag racing, and oh boy, we're already 3x3 wide. Deeper in the field, someone clearly didn't go, and that has checked everyone up in the midfield right shy of the halfway point.
Yep, here comes the aggression. You gotta get out there, you gotta get to the point. Jeremiah Vincent's actually gonna go for the race lead right now as well up at the point. Morello restarted a little bit further back. He started out the fifth spot. He has managed to move his way fractionally forward after leading the bulk of the laps here today. We're getting set for a good old battle for the race lead up at the point. Vincent got there. Morello was saying the outside lane was struggling for a little bit of speed. Not no more. Whatever it was, they've managed to figure it out up there. And they're now moving forward with a heap of momentum.
Jeremiah Vincent, he's going to clear for the race lead, slips down to the inside of the 73 and 32. Justin Malarkey and Ronnie Norman all in the mix here trying to scramble it out as we'll fight it down the front stretch and into turn number 1. And now Malarkey trying to go to the lead of the race. Jeremiah Vincent maintains in the Budweiser number 8. But Malarkey wants to try to find a way through to be a rookie to lead the opening race in season 5.
Oh, that would be a great little bit of history for himself. Leading a rookie race. Running a reasonably good super speedway package as well. When you think about the season at large, another opportunity to score big points later on in the season won't be a bad idea for him. Nicholas Cope has cut his way back through. He's back up here at the point as well. Manatzi Major cutting his way through at the moment. Guys on the inside line just seem to be maintaining. Nobody's out there and pushing Jeremiah Vincent. And caution's going to fly for something at the rear of the field.
Zach Hinson is around. Tim Branson is in there. And I believe that to be the... Oh, we got a second incident. Ryan Shelton around to the front straightaway as well.
He just said something on the radio as well. So I wonder whether or not that was... Oh, he got loose down the apron. That Shelton was actually apologizing.
And there you see, this is the initial incident. This 1-1 got checked up and just tried to slot back in line. No room there, Sunshine. 58 gets turned, 21 goes into the wall, and Hinson going to go up and go head first into the outside wall as well. Tim Branson lost it on the bottom, trying to avoid. We're starting to rack those yellow flags up here, aren't we?
Yeah. That we are. Yeah, just tried to read the run. There was no hole there at the bottom. Might have been. What you got to remember is heading into the corners is that the bottom lane's shorter, so automatically the inside lane's going to be a surge. So whilst you might have been clear on the initial entry of the corner, is that will close itself up. What you're going to see here is wreck happens in the background. Yellow flag happens about now, and they all dive to the apron. As he dives to the apron, remember I was talking about stiff suspension? That's all that was. A tire bouncing.
Unfortunately for Stacey Hunter, nothing that he could do to avoid it.
No.
Rough ride there on the front straightaway for a couple. Well, Scott, caution flag is out for about the 4th time tonight. We're going to take ourselves with a quick step back, and when we return, racing action resumes on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy. but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV. Seconds away from returning to the Green Flag racing action here from the Highline Diecast Collectibles Speed Cup Series and the Atlanta Kickoff. Been a wild race so far, and no doubt a race to remember here, as drivers have been really giving it the beans so far all day today. And well, that aggression not going to let it go away anytime soon here, Scott.
Nope, don't think it's going to stop for the rest of the race. We're into the second half now. We go green here in the end of this lap. There'll be 45 to go, which means, by the way, we haven't got to the fuel window yet, but I get the feeling with 45 to go, we actually probably can go green. The thing will be, though, is if we do need to fuel save. There is some fuel saving to be done to make it to the end of the race. There will be some cars you'll see start to fall back, but I get the feeling they're expecting more cautions, which means you'll see a bulk of the drivers press on here. But if you do see a fuel-saving race, what will happen is you'll see less likelihood for cautions, because the big thing is, you need a fuel save, you can't race anywhere near as hard. If you can't race anywhere near as hard, you need to lift and you need to let guys go. You need to lift and let guys go. You're not going to race them. You're not going to be there pushing for a little bit of a mistake.
Here comes Nicholas Code up on the top side. Oh, trouble back straight away. Vincent's around. Caton's around. Hard hit to the wall for Harrington. The 00 slides in. The big one on the back straightaway here. This time around, a good 5, 6, 7 cars collected.
8 or 9, yeah.
And Cote was able to steal the lead before the yellow came out.
And I think that's about the third incident that Philip Scott's actually been involved in the 00 here tonight. Unfortunately for him.
I'll get a look back on how this transpired.
He's actually a fair bit of room between him and the next car too, so he's planning on either building a run here or he is saving.
Caton just came down on Vincent. There's no ifs or buts about it.
Yeah, weird.
And oh,
Peyton's been struggling with that car all night long, though.
Yeah. Rough for Ronnie Norman, who spun down. He's the one that got into Philip Scott. And then Dave Harrington got involved. Norman spun down to the inside. Look at Ryan Shelton. Quick course correction from apron to wall in a couple seconds. And that probably saves him from worse damage.
The big thing for Shelton was that he was probably the best thing that happened was him actually getting caught up in that most recent caution, because otherwise he would have been right at the scene of this one. So just keep your eyes on the 30. Okay, there's one touch. But then he comes back down. Okay, the first one, all right, you know, make a mistake, but come back down is the issue for Arabian Peyton.
Yeah. So you're right on board with the 30. This is what he saw.
The big thing that I'm looking at there, the thing that jumps to mind straight away is, and I was actually flicking through some of the iRacing videos last night because I discovered a whole new section of the UI that I didn't even know existed before. But there's actually videos and guides built in as a part of racing. one of the things it talks about is getting your eyes up. And what that does is the further down the road that you actually get your eyes, naturally, psychologically, what happens within your brain is that everything seems like it's moving slower. So you feel like you have more time to react. The big thing that I noticed, and I used to do this as a kid back when I was racing in my motocross days, except for there was a little bit of reasoning behind it. I'm actually extremely short-sighted and didn't know it at the time. I just thought that was normal for everyone. So what happened was I was looking at my front wheel, my front mudguard. Now, a motorbike that actually has big issues for balance and those sorts of things, and is not very good, but that's as far as I could see. But as soon as I got better eyes and got my eyes up, I was looking further down the track, my balance immediately improved. Was having less issues. I'd be saying the same thing to Robbie Caton. The big thing for me is it looks like he's lost track of where he is on the racetrack, and he feels panicked because he can't get his eyes far enough down the racetrack. So the further you can get your eyes down the racetrack, basically your mind builds a 3D image and a 3D understanding of where the space is around you and what's going on around you. And it becomes easy to read little bits of markers and reference points. It looks like he got lost with where he was on the racetrack. I gotta be honest, that looks like exactly like what's happening. Well, so he's then soaring at the reel because he's trying to figure it all out.
Well, and that's an easy mistake to do as well, right? I mean, you always have got to kind of keep your focus out there. And I mean, hey, you know how it is. If you're gonna end up in one of those tough situations, sooner or later, you might get bit by it. And I think he's just kind of found that out the hard way.
Yeah, but it's never about it. And the thing is, all race car drivers is something they're going to keep working on, and it's natural instinct. But when you're having bad races and those sorts of things, one of the easiest things is come back to your basics as we get back on the way and have a look over what's going on with your basics. Sometimes it's just one of those little things that you're not recognizing that you're doing, and just remind yourself, okay, smooth on the gas, smooth on the brakes, smooth on the wheel. Oh, I was actually being really aggressive on the steering wheel. Sweet, I can work on that. Oh, my eyes went far enough down the racetrack. Okay, little basics, things like that are really, really important to touch base on, because occasionally we get too caught up in the battle and little things going on in our near vicinity, and we drop the discipline and the standards of all these other little things. Sometimes there's a little stuff that, you can go 5 races where you've checked all the right boxes and things just don't go your way. And that is racing. That's a part of what we do. But it's always good. Always review it and go, what could I have done? And if there was one little thing that you might have lost a race by 1 second, but across the race, there might have been 3 or 4 seconds worth of mistakes. Oh, well, gotta beat me on pace. You made 3 or 4 seconds worth of mistakes. There might not have been big ones. There might have only been little ones. You might have only lost a tenth of the time. If you lost a tenth of the time and lost 4 seconds, that's 40 mistakes you could have worked on throughout the run. And it's those little things. The best guys will be working on those all the time.
Under 40 laps to go as the green flag comes back out. Minazzi Major leading the way. The number 10 still in line right behind him as well. Jesse Gordon trying to track through to the front of the field. Nicholas Cote leads the way, still ahead of Justin Melilo. Dylan Banks trying to make tracks as well, just a little ways behind. Oh, no! More cars around. Jeffrey Johnson Jr., one of the rookies, is caught up. Vincent's involved. Simmer gets respun by Tim Branson after the yellow was already out. And again, we continue to rack up the yellows from the EchoPark Speedway.
Yeah. It is under 40 to go now as well, and they're still getting into each other. That was just in the midfield. Again, it's just scattering on that front straightaway. It's really, I cannot impress upon people how difficult to read the front straightaway is. This car, this package is super speedway racing, but it's nothing like anything else.
Kind of saw already in progress. Oh, Johnson just got clipped in the middle of all of that. Thought for a moment he might have escaped, but not lucky enough. And you see Vincent spinning back up. He's going to go and nose into the outside wall. Not a lot of really hard hits in this wreck, I'm noticing. They may have been able to more or less get away with that.
There's still going to be some cars with a fair chunk of damage. I'm really curious what went on with this 42. So he's up there. He's 3 wide. If you're 3 wide, you're going to give him more room. He has the wiggle on the outside lane. And again, just loses relative position of where he is on the racetrack. Car has a little bubble. Like I said, just the way that this car and this package drives in this sort of a situation, it's a lot more difficult than it seems.
There you see the iRacing pace car as well. Watch back here. Just, oh boy. Someone get a speedometer on that thing. That car was absolutely hauling the mail trying to get up through there. Why not? Let's get a look on this on board the back of the pacer. We don't get to see this all that often, right? We don't get to see this all that often. Why not? Let's have some fun with this while we're here. So we'll jump up, and you'll be able to kind of see the wreck developing right past the underneath side of the light bar. Right there, you see the lights come on, and that car, it gets moving, and a good thing it did, because there goes Charles Simmer spinning down right past where it would have been exiting.
Yeah, difficult. Very, very difficult for that iRacing pace car. And then because it's an automatic pace car, this is the fun. And this scares the pants off of drivers, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
When this happens. It is freaky when you're just sitting there chilling, going, what's going on? We're slowing down for the wreck. Woof! And you just think you've been hit. No, never mind. It's okay. It's just the iRacing pace car. It's all good.
It's always a weird moment with these iRacing pace cars, isn't it? There's our fine little pace car driver. Those eyes have seen some things. Wait, that is the 1,000-yard stare in a nutshell. Do you think he's aware of what track he's even at right now?
No, I think he's picturing all the racetracks and everything that's going on in years gone by.
Yeah.
The things that he's seen, man. I would be very, very curious to see if iRacing put out statistics of how many laps he drives in a year.
Oh, I'm sure that's logged somewhere. I'm sure it is. But that's one of those stats where it's like, who would be asking for that besides us?
Me. I'm asking for that. It's an interesting thing. You know what? The benefit of being broadcasters, but we're also, racing enthusiasts at the end of the day. Unique stats, funny things that happen in the world of racing. Actually last week I was calling GT3 racing from Thailand, and there's the categories that went on with that. We had 5 separate brake failures in that weekend. It was nuts. It was nuts. There was a Ferrari went down at turn 1 at 250 kilometers an hour, but he's from the brake, and there was nothing there. It's just, like, racing is just weird. Weird things happen. We saw Porsche Cup Asia racing at the Bangladesh Grand Prix. Huge incident on the formation. Huge incident in the formation like the last race of the weekend. It's just a weird thing. It happens in all forms of racing. We like it because it's different.
Justin White and Zach Williams have both been given black flags. I'll have to serve them on this restart. Lap 66 will see us back to the green, back to racing. Justin Bell, trying to retake the lead of the race up high as he looks to go around Nicholas Cope. Martin Blute trying to push him clear. Benazzi Major trying to work with that 17 car down on the bottom. There is Williams pulling down the inside along with White there. Both going to try to get down to pit road this time to serve those penalties.
Now, I need to get down there nice and quickly. And Malello cutting his way back into the group. Up the front, didn't get the run that he wanted on the top side. Slow it back in and he'll rebuild it.
Oh, here we go. Kyle Holden not wasting any time. He tried to go 3 wide around the top. No one was going to go with him, though, on that one. And there is Jesse Gordon all over the backboard fluids. Actually unsettled in one car. He's trying to push him to get him to go, but, hey, you push, and sooner or later, something's going to break. Just got to keep focused on that car in front and run his own race instead of worried about the guy in front of him too much.
The big thing is, you never know what kind of runs are going to work and what isn't at different points in time, because sometimes you just get no support. You move up and you go, we've got a lot of, this lead pack's going nowhere, this lead pack's going nowhere, this lead pack's going nowhere. All right, I'm going to try and take it somewhere. I'm on the outside. You jump up there and everyone's like, well, see ya, thank you very much for the free spot. Sometimes that's just racing. You just don't get the support. You've got nobody to work with. That's really, really important to get the teams in and working together, because that is how you build those runs. Without any support, you jump into that other lane, and it's going to go nowhere. And it's got to be the right kind of support as well. You've got to have a guy that knows when to push, knows when to put the power down. But this front group are doing such a great job of generating momentum at the moment. It's going to be very, very difficult for a second lane of cars to actually get up here and start going to work on it.
But how long is it going to be before people up here start to go 2 and 3 wide, right? Because, the single file, just like at a regular Super Speedway race, it's only going to last so long. Sooner or later you hit that threshold where, okay, if I don't go now, I'm not going to have a chance later on. And when one person thinks that, well, the other 20, 30 guys behind them are going to be thinking the exact same thing, and that's where all hell breaks loose.
They're all race car drivers at the end of the day. And they all want one spot on the racetrack, but there's only one guy that can get it. But there is a right time, there is a right place. The big thing for me is the level of separation that's going on in the pack at the moment. With the level of separation, there's so many holes in the pack that there's sort of nobody can really build the run that they necessarily want to generate up in that outside lane. Like, it's still trying to build up there. They just cannot get a consistent platform in that outside lane. Martin Poot's gone up there now, and he's going to get cut off by Malarkey. So Malarkey's dropped the fairway back through these recent cycles, and he's looking for a little bit of momentum. Now, see, now it's the right guys that have jumped out there, and it's starting to make some work. Malarkey's not gaining any spots yet. He gets one spot here, he will have gained. So that's what he's looking for, and he's going to get chopped up by Jesse Gordon.
Now, Jesse Gordon, I think, is getting a little bit more impatient, right? He wants to go to the front, and he's been making that very apparent by how much he's been trying to push Martin Clue around. When that didn't work, he cut in line behind Ryan Newman. When that didn't work, now he's going back over to the top side to try to get up on that outside line. Gordon's getting impatient. He wants to go to the front of this race, and he wants to be up there yesterday.
Well, I think the fuel-saving element's now gone out of this race. There's a big lift in the inside lane. I want to say it's Ryan Newman who just lifted in the outside lane and caused a huge check-up down there. That's where the momentum's going to start to come from. Malarkey's getting pushed by Poot now as well. So they are starting to build. It's just taken them forever to get enough momentum to pick off enough spots, and the push is going to not line itself up on the front stretch, and then they lose all the ground they just gained.
Oh, trouble! Turn one. Multiple cars into the outside wall. The 33 of Ethan Johnson, Jeff Johnson Jr. is into the wall. Amberg is caught up as well. Jeremiah Vincent has smoked the fence. Caton with big damage. And so does Matt Monenbald. So quite a few rookies caught up here.
Yeah, a lot of them caught up in a bunch of stuff. There's the 95 machine, I think, was the red car actually in the outside lane. Ooh.
Here we go. Oh, there was the 33. It was started with Johnson. Got hooked sideways on the front straightaway. Got into Johnson. There's Caton and Vince again involved. And then here comes a Monenbald. Just got shoved into the outside wall. Very tough break all around.
Oh, boy. Arabia Caton's going to be in a fair bit of trouble here, too. He's running to a wreck. A long way after it's happened.
Caton? No, he was one of the first cars in this.
No, that's not the 30 machine, is it? That's the 95 right there.
Oh, sorry. My apologies.
Keep your eyes. Just watch. This is not good. This is very not good. So the pace cars come out of the pit lane and everyone stop over and turn around. He's having some braking issues at the moment.
Oh boy, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down! Oh no!
You can't do that. You cannot do that.
Holy cow!
Remember what I was talking about getting that? That's not getting your eyes far enough down the racetrack. You cannot be doing that at all. You have to get your eyes further down the track than that.
And of course, these cars are all damaged, right? They've got suspension damage. They're crabbing around. They're just trying to fight their way through. There you see Easterday kind of getting a little upset with Ethan Amberg, or just getting the momentum upset. And then, I mean, yellow flag, all you can say is out, and the 21. Oh my gosh, I have no idea, for the record, why the 21 Corey Hutchinson hooked Philip Scott. I think maybe just got loose, but that wouldn't have stopped anything about what Caton did.
No, it wouldn't have.
It's one of those things, right? I mean, it's come up a few times across the board in green flag 2 across a bunch of different leagues, but it's the same philosophy, right? The yellow flag is out. The field is frozen. Yeah. You got 4 laps to catch the leaders. Why are you still running at race pace? Yellow means slow down. You have to slow down.
Yeah.
You're not going to gain, even if you're flying through there, you are gaining nothing because you're going to be ordered to give all those spots back anyway.
Yeah. You gain, as soon as the yellow flag is thrown, you gain nothing. You absolutely gain nothing. I think the 21's come down and actually gotten into the rear end of the 00 there because he was trying to slow down those cars all over the racetrack as well. But yeah, you can't ban anything about it. And the reason, by the way, that all those guys were slow was not to do with anything to do with the cars being wrecked. It was actually to do with they were waiting for the pace car to come out of the pit lane. They were being instructed to stay behind the pace car.
Well, in the end, they're also nursing damage, trying to just trying to mind their own business.
Yeah,
I don't understand
not
that
okay
one.
with that. So either way, it's happened. It's in the back. A couple of cars out of the race as a result of that one. So it's happened. It's done. Nothing you can do with it. Time to move on.
Well, the field going to get set to go. We are in the backcourt of this race, and I don't feel like the aggression is going to be going away as the laps only continue to tick further and further away. Nicholas Cote leads the way. Major up top. Top 9 have not pitted in over 30 laps as they'll work their way in to the EchoPark restart zone. Green flag is back into the air as Nicholas Cote almost spun the tires off the restart.
Yeah, it's so important to get in line here. Get that big old shove. 82 Machine and Minazzi Majors in that outside lane. He's got no support right now. Everybody else jumped to the bottom lane, so he's going to get absolutely railroaded right here. You can see the cars all jumping around on the bumps at the moment as well. So just trying to get that power down and get that push going.
Ryan Newman making quick work up high as he tries to chase after Minazzi Major. Was not content with the lack of pace shown from that inside groove off the hitch. Now trying to get in line. Oh my goodness! Forces the hole between Malarkey and Norman. And I don't think Malarkey is too happy with that as he tried to go into the apron to attack back, but just couldn't get the run going.
Yeah, couldn't. He'll be upset certainly by being cut off right there. Minazzi Major from the front row has fallen back to 11th spot before he finally found some support from Martin Plout. And Newman again just opens up. You can't open up the hole to the bottom. Super Speedway racing. And if this was Daytona Talladega, you would not be moving off that bottom groove. Just because it's Atlanta, you have no entitlement to move off that bottom groove. So you need to be sticking it to the bottom in the corners. If there is a hole, the race car driver is going to place his nose. It might be aggressive, but if there is a hole there and there is an opening, it is going to get filled. Do not leave it open.
Look at how quickly that outside lane is gaining ground. The inside's got no pace right now. Up top, it's headed up by Ronnie Norman on some fresh rubber. He's got, his tires are only half worn down as the guys on the that are running with him. Now a bunch of cars up top. Justin Mello drives back to the point. He's going to take Dylan Banks with him.
Yeah, I think that was a smart decision. And the thing is, from Mello, I think he's going to stay. I think he's going to cover off that top lane just because of the fresher tire situation that they're finding up there. Now the outside lane recognizes that all those guys have jumped back down to the inside, so they're going to get back up here and pushing. But there was so much speed being generated on that outside lane. I think you'll see those front two cars, they'll jump up here and block it and cover it again.
Working lap 82 with 19 to go. Coming to 18 this time by, and the run has stalled up top. I think that's one thing that Mello and Banks did really well. They really stalled out any momentum that outside lane had, and now that you're up to speed, it takes so much longer to build it up all over again.
Whilst they were free and easy to run, but I think it also had a little bit to do with Nick Cote just was not comfortable with the level of pushing that was going on at that point in time, and Banks and Melillo can work a little bit closer together. They're doing a great job. Now the run is starting to build. It's taken about 2.5 laps. So, run is rebuilding in that outside groove. See if they can get some power down. Starting to get there. But the big thing is, the two cars at the front of Banks and Melillo are just doing a much, much better job. I wonder whether or not Nazi Major's overheating a little bit. We're seeing him search around for a little bit of air in some of the corners. Yeah, he's searching for air. He is big time searching for air.
And that's the other thing that we haven't really talked about much tonight. If you get up on those bumpers, that water temp's going to climb really, really quickly. And if it gets to that threshold, that engine can pop. We've seen that time after time again, not just at Atlanta, but at Daytona, Talladega, across all manner of different vehicles. You got to get that cleaner when you can. And I think if you're not going to be making much progress, best to kind of lift a little bit, find the clean air where you can. Oh, a big loose moment. Nearly spun around with Martin Plouffe.
Yeah, and that's him just trying to press. So I guarantee you, Nazi Major would have been like, I can't get to him. Now he's going to get a shot. Now they're just going to dive onto the outside and run and take that run somewhere. You were talking about the lanes not having the run. I think they've both got away with it. Ronnie Norman's okay. The car's still tracking straight. The car's still fine. A little bit of contact. Not too bad. No one died. A-okay to keep pressing on.
How that was not a wreck is beyond me. They went nearly 4 wide in turn 1, trying to find a hole. Now Justin Malarkey going to jump back up to the outside. Although quickly seeking down the inside, he's just trying to find wherever there's any kind of speed to just keep going towards the point. Because we're reaching that threshold, right, where you're at the point of no return. You got to start making the moves, especially if you're further down in the field.
If you're further down the field, 14 to go, it's time to press on. It's time to start picking. But the deeper we get into this, the less room there's going to be. Nazi Major just sent it into the corner on his own, and he gained 2 spots. So there is room for that outside lane to start making things work, but then he stalls out because there's no momentum coming with him. Now Paul will get back to him. So the grip is in that outside lane. The inside lane certainly has to back up their corner entries just a little bit. Yeah, that outside lane's working. They are starting to make some ground. There's going to be another big check up in the inside lane. Plouffe got side-to-side contact from, I think it was Garrett Austin. He manages again to recover.
Working up and around the top side. And I think part of the reason about why we've been seeing so many problems exiting the quad oval and in the quad oval, you got to remember, right, just like at Talladega, there's a third lane that there's a fourth or fifth lane that opens up down on that inside line in the quad oval, and then it immediately tightens up the second you cross the start finish line, just like at Talladega, right? So that's not helping matters as well with these guys and all the incidents we've been seeing on the front straightaway.
Well, the thing is, the dash lines on the front straightaway, those actually aren't great lines for reference. The cars can't make the turns as tight as those dash lines are, so the reference markers aren't there. So everyone runs the front straightaway just a little bit differently on the quad oval here, which means that you're getting a push going down the front straightaway is actually quite difficult. You got to trust the guy. You got to know exactly what he's going to do. He's got to be consistent. Consistent's the big key word. If a driver's consistent in exactly the same spot all the time, you can push him significantly more. Major, another big shot, and the shots are getting bigger and bigger and bigger now as well. 10 to go.
10 laps the distance, and still it remains Justin Mello and Dylan Banks to lead the way here at the EchoPark Speedway. They are starting to pull a bit of a gap over Nicholas Coates. The outside line trying to push their way up there, but there's just not enough progress being made. And now Martin Plouffe, in fact, being dragged back from Nazi Major. I think Jesse Gordon's aggressive pushing strategy here is actually hampering them more than it's helping.
A little bit. The problem is Plouffe needs Gordon to actually get some runs going and get to Nazi Major. If there's not enough momentum, you can't break the bubble, you can't push him hard enough. So you got to push, but you're right. The technique is probably a touch wrong. It's not majorly wrong, but at the end of the day, if that third car in line isn't up close enough and helping, then you can't really do anything with it. So he's got to be pushing a little bit. I think you're right. It's a touch too hard, and now they're gonna get blocked.
Looking for 7 to go this time by Nazi Major, with a big tank slapper in the middle of the field. Coke gonna jump up to the outside line. Start to pull him out more and more. When do drivers like Dylan Banks want to pull the trigger and make that move? Plouffe leaves the door open for Gordon just a little bit. Gordon couldn't take it. Plouffe immediately shut it once again in turn number 1. As Nicholas Coke continues to lead that outside line, but again, now they're being dragged back.
They are a little bit, but there's a lot of energy. There's a lot of pushing going on there. I think it's Ronnie Norman who just drifted. No, sorry, my apologies. I think it's TJ Buck who drifted up a little bit. Major recognized he can't push Coat the way that he wants to, so he now breaks that. Dives to the inside lane. He's going to push on to Ronnie Norman. So you've got Minazzi Major. He's thinking about things. He goes, all right, we got 6 to go here. I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive with the way. You might see him just drop back up to the top side lane here now that he's cleared Coat.
The battle continues to rage on, looking for 5 to go, this time by one car up and almost into the outside wall. Oh, trouble! We got cars going around. Ryan Shelton put into the fence. No caution. We're going to keep it green.
Yeah, he gathered it up, but they have caught a lap car up at the front now, which means that there is an opportunity to pick up some draft to some other guys. And I think it's the 42. It is the 42 with Simmer. He's going to leave that door open, but he made that a little bit more awkward than he needed to. Oh, there's the contact.
Shelton caught the wall, and Nate Cotilla just ran into the back of him, couldn't avoid in time. And that takes us around now to just 4 laps to go.
And time's running out. I reckon you're going to see somebody's going to have a go this lap of jumping to the outside lane. But there's no support. That's the issue. There's no support. No one's willing to show that they're going to go with. I reckon you can do about 2 laps of hard pushing before the thing starts to get real hot. So that sort of tells you we'll be 3 to go this time. Somebody's going to dive out of lane. I don't think you can wait any longer than what's going on right now. If you do, you're just going, hey, I'm going to get 5th place. I'm going to get 4th place. That's not a bad call. When you come to Atlanta and you walk away with 4th, 5th, a top 5, that's a good point stay. You take that.
The big question is, when are drivers like Schlosser or Banks going to make that move for the lead? I'm willing to bet not until the final lap. They're looking for 2 to go. This time by. Mello has been the dominant car all day today. Can he hang on for 2 more laps?
There's a bunch of cars at the point here. They lost at the end of lap 46 to they've been able to drag that fuel
trouble and overtime.
Caution.
Jesse Gordon puts the flag out. Stephen Gibson spinning on the back straightaway as well. And all of a sudden, Justin Mello is going to be sweating bullets because he's going to have to do it again.
I don't know if he's going to be sweating bullets. His restarts have been really, really good.
Take a look back here. This is Jesse Gordon. Oh, Cotilla got tipped by the 33, and Gordon got up into the wall and just got clipped. Plu was in the mix and back into the outside wall for the 10. That's what put him up and into the outside wall. And Gibson got turned just up in front, possibly for a checkup.
There was a secondary incident. This is the one I think that might have dragged the caution out.
As he goes for a long spin down the back straightaway.
Keep your eye on the 97 as he's just up ahead. Driving super hard out. Good look out. It's just.
There's Gibson. Oh, trying to clear himself.
No. Yeah, so he had a clear call, and he was, what I heard on the in-race radio was, my apologies, this one's on me, from Gibson, 97 machine. He said, my apologies, that one's all on me. I got a clear call, and as I turned down, you got there.
Oh, that's a shame.
Which I think that's a fair assessment. That's a pretty close to a fair assessment on him. He needed to turn down definitely earlier than that.
Yeah, again, it's that lack of decision. You got to be super decisive when things happen this quickly. As there you see Charles Simmer getting the lucky dog free pass. This is going to put us, though, into our first of, I believe, 2 overtime attempts.
Correct. Yeah, there will be 2 tonight. Good green flag run there, though. Very, very good green flag run. 30-something laps. On that one, I believe. Actually, it might have been 25. I think we went green with about 25.
So this will be, for us here on Green Flag TV, it will be the Beer Street Journal last call here from the EchoPark Speedway. One of the largest online collections of original content dedicated to covering beer culture, education, and the advancement of the beer industry. With thousands of articles and millions of unique visitors and exposure in over 200 countries, Beer Street Journal is paving the way to enabling category growth, engaging a broader consumer base, and promoting better tasting beer for years to come. BeerStreetJournal.com, the best in beer. They present The Last Call at EchoPark Speedway this afternoon.
It's gonna be a big one. Overtime from the super speedway. How messy is this going to be?
Melolo's picked the outside for the restart.
He has.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I agree with that one.
You do? Explain.
No, I agree with your call. I agree with your call. I do not. He's gonna have TJ Buck pushing in here too. The critical thing is I heard a couple people up and down the field say the outside lane has not worked any time tonight. Well, I don't think that's to do with the outside lane. I think that's to do with the inside lane being the control car. I think the outside lane may actually do quite well. What he's looking for is he's looking for a big head of steam to get clear and then maybe cut down and shut off the run in the inside lane. Basically what he's trying to do is he doesn't have to control both lanes if he knows that when the inside lane's coming, he can just drop down in front of it. It's far more difficult to move up and control the outside lane than it is to just shut down the inside lane from the outside. I think that's the plan for Melolo here.
Well, the field going to work their way around this time by 2-lap dash to decide this race. It's been a long night, but we'll find out who wins the Highline Diecast Collectibles Atlanta Kickoff. Green flag is back in the air, 2 laps to go. Melolo trying to hang on for a win.
Well, the big thing was TJ Buck spun the tires in the restart zone, and he was Melolo's help in the outside lane. So that shuts that plan down, that strategy. Outside lane still need to get the jump. Buck can't get in, he's got no support.
What that does do is that is going to allow for Justin Melolo to clear to the inside, and now he has eliminated about half the competition he would have had from up top. Coming around, 1 lap to go this time by.
Yeah, here we go. White flag's gonna be in the air. It has gone official. We won't need both of the green light checkers here tonight. Where's the first run coming from? I think it's Malarkey back in the 9th spot, but no one's generating any momentum. No one's backing up enough. Manasi Major might have a run, but he's got no support. He's gonna try, he's thinking it. He was trying to fake out match loss to go to the outside, and he dropped back in. Kyle Holden is gonna have a crack. And that run burned out as well. He's going to lose the spot back to Norman.
Dylan Banks looking to push Justin Melolo to the win. He'll win the Atlanta Kickoff. Banks didn't make the look. And Justin Melolo owes Banks a beer, pushing him straight home to the victory after that one. Jeffrey Johnson Jr., meanwhile, will clinch the fastest lap of the race at the buzzer.
And Melolo's already on the radio and saying, Dylan Banks, great job. Great job with the pushes and whatnot. And I think Dylan Banks read it as well. I think he recognized it. He said, I could win. I've got a chance of winning, but if I pop out here, there's a much stronger chance that I lose the win and I drop away and finish 4th or 5th or something. He was basically locked in a 2nd spot if he stayed in the line. And that was the decision. Winning, yeah, I don't necessarily think I can win. It's a risk, but I would a higher chance of losing big spots. So he's just playing for the points race right now.
A big day for Justin Melolo here this afternoon as this, for him, I mean, what a day it has been for Justin Melolo, right? Constantly the bridesmaid, never the bride. It is his maiden win in Speed Cup Series competition. Feels almost weird to say that, right? It doesn't feel right, but hey, that is the case. The closest he came to a win was last season at the Talladega Super Speedway, where he lost by just 0.02 of a second. Today, he can call himself a Speed Cup Series winner.
Yeah, and the amount of laps that Melolo has led and been in the top 5 for is extremely high compared to the race results he's actually been able to tick off. So for him to actually finally get that one would be a weight off his back. But I think the big thing we've heard from Justin in every interview we've had and the amount of podiums that he's had is, I'm just out here. I'm having fun, man. This racing's great. It's tough. It keeps the skill set fresh. And he's just enjoying himself, and you're going to hear more of that.
He definitely enjoyed himself here this afternoon. And we'll look to get a rundown of your official post-race results here this afternoon from the EchoPark Speedway. It is Justin Mello with his maiden win ahead of Dylan Banks. Matt Schlosser comes on third. Manatee Major in fourth. Ronnie Norman will finish it off in fifth. Ryan Newman in sixth. Kyle Holt in seventh. Garrett Austin in the eighth. Nick Cotzilla and Brendan McKee in 10th. Good run for the rookies with 4 of them finishing in the top 10.
Great job for them. Nick Cote just outside the 10 and 11. Jeff Johnson Jr., Stephen Gibson, TJ Buck. He was looking really strong up until that last run there. He was the first car to jump out of line. He lost a ton of spots. Martin Pleat from Justin Malarkey, Ryan Shelton, Jesse Gordon, Charles Simmer, and Zach Williams to round out the 20.
Moving on down, it's going to be Justin White 21st, Tim Branson 22nd, Harrington, Easterday, Amberg, Malton Bolt, Vincent, Scott, Hutchinson, and Caton round out the 30.
And final 6 drivers that were in the field. Zach Henson, Stacey Honor, both plus 50 or more down. Jason Shue, 60. Joe Barrett, 61. Fadden, one of the early retirements, 71. And Stan Hausman in that big crash very early on, 16 laps in, only 84 laps down on the night.
With all that said and done, we can get a chance now to give a chat here with all the drivers that finished this race up on the podium. And we'll look to kick it off first and foremost with the man of the hour. Justin Mello joins us here in the Green Flag TV broadcast booth. And Justin, we've talked to you plenty of times. You were on the podium. Tonight, though, finally, you take your maiden win of the Speed Cup Series. How does it feel?
Oh, it feels great, Nolan. I cannot tell you how long I've been waiting for this. I am not known for winning races, and to go and do all of these races and come up short so many times in the A season, it really does mean everything. I really got to thank Dylan Banks for all of his help tonight. He messaged me in practice, and I didn't get back to him because I was up for my computer, but he messaged me. He said, "Hey, let's work together." I'm like, all right. So the first time that we had the opportunity to work together, I messaged him back. I'm like, all right, let's do this. I'm going early. And we ended up taking that restart perfectly and leading the train. And then we went from there to, what was it? We were third and fourth at one point with like 15 laps to go. And I knew if a caution were to come out, it was going to be not so great because we'd both be on row 2 and we'd have to figure out how to get linked back up. Thankfully, Matt in the 400 took a dive and ended up taking 4th position from him at that exact moment that the caution came out. And from there, I just knew, like, all I had to do was make the run on Nicholas to get the lead back. And if I could pull Dylan around, I know everybody was wondering why I took the high line, but I had the plan in my head, and it finally worked out exactly how I wanted it to. And we're winners tonight.
Safe to say you owe Dylan the beer here after that one this afternoon. Obviously, things came up short for you in the championship last season. I know you constantly say you're just here for the fun of it, and I expect that's still the words we're going to be getting here this afternoon. But if you had to make a shot at the title fight, do you reckon this might be the season with a win in race 1?
I think we've definitely set the bar. I didn't get to race at Daytona last season, so I didn't really get the opening race experience like tonight was back when I joined in the A season. My first race was actually at Atlanta. And if you remember, I had cars. I was on top of cars. Cars were on top of me. It was a crazy ending, a crazy way to join this Speed Cup series. So to turn that around and come out here and finally get the monkey off my back. So we're in victory lane. It's not winning in, but I am very happy that we finally got the win out of the way. And you know what? Maybe we do have a championship run in us this season. It's we got the inverse colors on the car. It's the same car as the A season had, but we've got the red in where the blue was and the blue where the red was. And you know what? I consider that like a rally cap kind of situation. We turn the hat upside down, and you know what? It worked out. Race 1, victory lane. We'll take it.
Well, we'll wish you the best of luck when we go racing next week with a swing down to the Dover Motor Speedway. Congratulations on taking your maiden win, and we'll hopefully be talking to you again in Delaware.
Thank you, Nolan.
Justin Miller comes on number 1 this afternoon, and well, you are going to be talking, Scott, with the guy that pushed him to the win. It's Dylan Banks in number 2.
Dylan, big thing on your side of the garage here tonight was Justin just said to us, chatted to him in practice, said, I'll try and hook up, try and push you, working all night long. I think that's one of the big things when you come to the super speedways. You got to have the guys that you can trust, and you were out there in practice already talking to a bunch of guys and making sure that you had groups that you could work with early on. And first race of the season, straight up. Second step, the big thing I think at Atlanta is that walking away with a podium's a great race. Atlanta's such a big risk that you've got to be happy with a podium.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could be like taken out on lap 1. That's just how super speedway racing goes. So anytime you can even finish the race, it's a good thing. And even better with a podium finish. I had a freaking blast tonight. I'm new to this league. I'm still rookie, first race with this league, and I had a blast tonight. It was a lot of fun.
Mate, in terms of things, obviously Atlanta is one of the unique races on the schedule. There's not going to be a whole bunch of other ones in the series. Is there any racetrack that you're sitting here and you're going as a rookie, I think I've got what it takes to win at some of these racetracks? Or is the biggest thing for you over the next couple of weeks just coming to grips with all the drivers, the talent level, and what you can and can't do with the quality of the racing that goes on here?
A little bit of mix of both. I feel like I can go out and compete and win just about every race. You just got to have the right mindset going into the race. Like, I can do this. Like, you just got to go in there with the right mentality. If you go in there with a mentality like, oh, this ain't going to be fun, I'm going to be horrible here, you're going to be horrible because you're in the wrong mindset to begin the race. So just got to go in with a clean, level head, no mistakes, and just be consistent. Consistency is the biggest key with this next gen car for sure. Try to do the same thing every lap. But yeah, I think we can go out and compete, and I think we can go out and win just about every race. You just got to have the right mindset. But yeah, definitely still coming to grips too, though. I don't want to take that away. Definitely got to come to grips and see everybody's driving styles and all, because it's new people, new league, and all. It's gonna take a couple races to kind of get used to everybody. So just trying to be nice, be respectful, and just go out there and compete.
Finally, is there anyone that you'd like to give a thank you and a shout out to for the result here tonight, helping you get it done in the number 23?
Yeah, well, got to thank y'all up in the booth. Can't wait to go back and watch. Make sure all the viewers out there like and subscribe on that video for sure. Got to thank all the guys that put this league together. Stan, all the guys, they're really cool. Really cool group of guys in this league. Can't wait to go to the next track next week. Yeah, big shout out to Justin on the win. Great working with him. Great finish for Matt as well in the podium. Yeah, just shout out to all the guys in this league. They're awesome, and they're really cool people.
Mate, congratulations on getting it done here, coming home P2, and we'll see you again next week. Go back, relax, and enjoy, I think, for the meantime.
Thank you, guys. Hope you have a great night.
Thank you, Dylan. Finally, Noel, I'm going to take the step down to the third step on the rostrum. It is the driver of the number 400, chatting with Nolan.
Matt Schlosser comes home with his second ever podium here in the Speed Cup Series. And Matt, first off, welcome back. It's been a hot minute since we've been able to talk to you. I believe you actually haven't spoken to you almost since Watkins Glen of last season when you took your first podium in the series.
Yeah, it has been a while. Good to talk to you guys again. I raced in a few different leagues where you guys have the call in the booth, so it's good to be back talking again and good to be back on the podium.
Kind of talk us through the race here this afternoon. You were kind of up near the front for much of racing action tonight. Strategy calls seem to be kind of all over the map today with the multitude of cautions we had. How did things fall for you?
Yeah, it became pretty obvious that track position was very important. So I kind of committed to being at the front pretty much at all costs. I think I ran the last 60 laps on one set of tires. I took fuel only to make sure I stayed up front. I probably could have taken tires, but I was just trying to make sure I didn't lose too many spots. And I just was able to hang around up there, survive some restarts and not get shuffled back or anything, and was able to make a few passes to get up into the top 5 and top 3, and got lucky with the last restart, was able to get a good start and just hang on and follow those 2 guys home to a podium finish.
Well, overall, season's off to a good start whenever you take a podium here in the first round. Do you reckon you can follow this up with another one at Dover coming on up in a week?
Yeah, I won't be at Dover. I'll be part-time here, but hopefully when I am back, I can put it up near the podium, if not on it. So looking forward to making a few more starts later in the season. I always enjoy racing here, so we'll see when I come back for that.
All right, well, we'll wish you the best of luck when we go racing once again. Congratulations on taking your second podium of your Speed Cup Series career, and we'll see you when we go racing whenever we see you next.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Match Losser comes home number 3 this afternoon, and, well, Scott, that's just about all the time we got for one afternoon. A long race, but a hard-fought race, and, boy, I feel glad. I'm happy for Justin Mello, though, right? I mean, so many times where he's been in a good position to win and just has never, ever been able to really pull the move off fully. Finally, though, able to be pushed to a courtesy of Dylan Banks, and you can tell he is a very happy camper with that.
Yeah, he's been watching, he's been waiting, he's been hoping, he's been praying. It finally happens. And he's happy. Like we said, he's over the moon. I didn't expect to hear that level of emotion from him. I'm going to be honest. I couldn't believe that he was, that happy about it, that keen to get on with the job. So, hey, man, congratulations to him is the biggest thing I got to say. So happy that we could be here to watch that one happen. And that is a very, very happy race car driver. And Dover, who knows what's going to happen next week?
Well, before we get to next week, there's still plenty of action yet to come here on Green Flag TV. When we go racing next, it'll be tomorrow night with the Bold Racing League Lightning Series at Homestead at Miami Speedway, followed up by the SRA NAS Classic Series from Darlington. On Sunday, it's the Blazing Metals ARCA Series at Chicagoland, alongside the For the Boys Racing League for race 2 here at the Atlanta 250 at the older version of EchoPark Speedway. Monday Night Racing will see us race once again with the High Tide Racing Guardian Premier Series at Michigan International Speedway, with the OMSRO Gold Series out for the Transits 150 at Las Vegas. Global IndyCar Challenge action is back for more for race 4 next week, alongside the Beer League with their season opener at Phillip Island and the Premier Sim Racing Sim Gaming Expo Truck Series. And then we'll roll around back to Thursday night, where we'll be racing once again for the Average Joe Sim Racing League and the Highline Diecast Collectibles Speed Cup Series. If you want to find out more about who we are and what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflagtv.com. As always, my name is Little Rempel alongside Scott Rankin. Long season ahead of us, and if tonight is anything to go by, it's going to be a season to remember for sure. We'll see you all when we see who can conquer Miles the Monster next week in Delaware.